I should just put daddies in the title. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Now, this is another video in an ongoing series of videos that I'll be posting for the Historical Romance Readathon. So hopefully you guys are enjoying these videos so far. I know I'm enjoying making them because I feel like it's something that is interesting and it's creative and it's something that will help build up the fan base for historical romances, even though there is a ton of people out there that love historical romances. But I also know for every reader that loves historical romances, there are some that are still a little bit too scared to dive into this genre. I get it, it's a little bit intimidating and it's a little bit hard. But this video is going to be focused on the historical romances that feature a single father or a father with children or a mother with children. Basically books with children in them in historical romances. For some reason, I love children. I just love children in romances. I feel like it's just a good happily ever after story. I know personal preference wise, some people don't want to have children, so then that's why they don't care for children. But this is for a video for people who funny little characters that run around and cause havoc, because that's usually what happens with historical romances with tiny little characters in them. Tiny little characters, I'm calling human beings tiny little characters with children in them. So the first book that I want to recommend to you, if you guys are looking for a character that is a single father or for a book that has children, is The Governess Games, which is book number 2 in the Girl Meets Duke series by Tessa Dare. Now this story is about a man who had just so happened to take care of his 2 nieces, and his 2 nieces are fairly young. I don't think that they're 8 or 7, but I think they're maybe 5 and 6. So they have their minds of their own, and they also have their opinions, and they also like to get into a lot of trouble. They don't want a governess to take care of them. They just want love, but obviously they're not vocal about it, and they just cause havoc and create chaos for attention. They love to have fun. They love to be snark. They also have attitudes where they express themselves, and usually they're the ones that make you laugh in the book. I know I really enjoyed it. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I think I took a star off because it just wasn't my high expectations of 5 out of 5. But regardless, I love this series, and I also love Tessa Dare. I really like the romance in this story as well. This romance started with our main male character, Chase, who has to take care of his 2 nieces and who is looking for a governess. And our main female character, Alexandra, just so happens to be a very well-educated governess, and she takes one look at the children and she realizes that the children don't need a new governess. What they really need is Chase to actually open his arms and his heart to these children who are feeling very lonely now that their parents have passed away. And it's just a very heartwarming story with lots of fun little scenes in them that made me laugh once again. So the next historical romance recommendation is To Beguile, a Beast by Elizabeth Hoyt. Now this is a book that I read actually prior to the readathon, a couple days before the readathon actually started, and I fell in love with it. I loved it so much. I mean, I've seen it on my shelf so many times now because it's been on my TBR for the past maybe 2 years, and I've seen it and I know it was going to be good, but I didn't know it was going to be this good. So this book features a girl named Helen, and Helen used to be a mistress to this very rich and wealthy duke, and she was okay with it. She was okay with the relationship, and she actually started a family with that duke, and she actually has 2 young children. One's a boy and one's a girl. But then she decided that she needed to run away because the duke wasn't treating her right anymore, and that she needed to take care of her 2 children. So she decides to run away and go and become a housemaid to a beast. And the beast is our main male character. His name is Alistar, and Alistar is a beast in every single way. He's mean, he's cruel, and he just doesn't understand why people are coming to him, and because he's scarred and he scares people, and he makes people actually visibly scream because he's just so scarred and so ugly. And but Helen is not deterred from this. Helen knows that she needs to start a new life, so she basically forces herself into his castle and basically forces him to give her a job as a housekeeper. And Alistar slowly grows into liking the children. At first he treats them as little adults, and it's kind of what the heck, I don't understand your personality. What do you mean you don't get these like adult things, and it was like really cute to see. So I hope you guys will pick up this book very soon as well, because I really enjoyed it. I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. So the next novel that I would like to recommend is actually a book that I'm currently reading right now for the readathon, and it is Governess Gone Rogue by Laura Lee Girk. And now this book I've talked a lot about in my previous videos, especially in my TBR video, but this one is something that is right up my alley. I'm really like enjoying it so far. So this one is about a father who has recently become widowed. He has 2 children, and the children are constantly doing little pranks to get rid of the governesses, and it's just like they don't know that they're doing it on purpose. I don't feel like that they're doing it on purpose. I feel like that they're just being wild and crazy, and then their pranks turn into disasters that cause the governesses to go running off the hills. James is like completely frustrated because he's like, why are my children like devil children, like spawn of Satan, and causing so much trouble for me? I just want to live a quiet life after my wife died. So he goes about and he wants to go hire a tutor so that the tutor can tame the children, and while the children is actually trying to look for happiness for their father, because they think that James is actually just missing his wife and that he just needs a little bit more love. So our tutor is also our main female character. She is a well-educated tutor, and she knows that she is a good one, but society doesn't still believe that females can be good tutors and that they are well-educated, so nobody really hires them. So she decides to dress up like a man so that she can get this job to tutor James's children. But James has a sneaking suspicion that something's wrong with our tutor, and because she's dressing differently, she's acting differently. And I think that this one will be a great read. I'm still not done with it, so I can't give you a rating yet. So the last book that I want to recommend you guys to read, if you guys love children in novels, is actually another Elizabeth Hoyt novel called Scandalous Desires. And this book is Maiden Lane's number 3 in her series. And this book is actually like a pirate novel, but when I was reading it, I don't really feel like there was a lot of elements featuring like heavy pirating, so like don't be too excited. He is a pirate, and society kind of like scared of him because he's rugged and he looks dangerous and he does a lot of like sea crimes, but that's as far as his pirating goes. So basically what happened was that our main male character is actually named Mickey, and Mickey's has suddenly become a father because the mother of the baby has died and the baby has fallen into his lap, and now he needs to take care of this baby, and he's like freaking out. He's a pirate and he doesn't know how to take care of children, so he enlists the help of our main female character named Silence, and Silence and Mickey go way back. They had like this like brief like relationship, and then now Silence is taking care of Mickey's child. And I thought this novel was really good. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars, and I remember like being the sexual tension, and like just like overall the book felt so good. And it was like one of my first Elizabeth Hoyt novels that was recommended to me from the publicist at Forever Romance, and I loved it so much that I bought a lot of the books in that Maiden Lane series because of it. So I highly recommend you to check this one out. So the next book that I want to recommend to you is a book that doesn't actually feature 2 characters that actually have children themselves, but there is a child featured in the book, and this child is so funny. I remember like listening to the audiobook, and the narrator did a great job at making the kid sound crazy, and it was just so funny. But the book that I want to recommend to you is Do You Want to Start a Scandal by Tessa Dare. And basically what happened is that, and our main 2 characters have been caught in a very dangerous situation where they were talking privately in a library, and somebody, like another couple, stumbles in and does a sexual like deed, and they hear it but they can't see because it's dark and they don't know who it is. But then the couple leaves, and then suddenly the room bursts open and people are saying they heard noises, and they find our 2 main characters in the corner, and they think that suddenly it was them who did the sexual misdeed. So then that means that they would have to get married, and then that's what the scandal is in this novel, because they want to know like who was causing the scandal, who started the scandal. So there's a child who like came forth and said that he heard noises, and it was just so funny. Like I died laughing, and it's really hard for me to like laugh a lot of the times for books, but I find Tessa Dare to be really hilarious, and this one has to be her funniest novel yet. So that is it for all the novels I would like to recommend you to read, especially if you like children's novels or if you just like a little bit of humor. I find that authors tend to make the children really hilarious and add a lot of the jokes to the stories, so I really recommend you to read it if you do enjoy it. But until next time, I'll see you guys again. Bye.